together. All right. Peace.
Oh wow, you all are punctual. That's what's up.
It's long.
All right,
Sister
recap,
Zara,
I
brother
don't know what
Sarush.
happened last night. I just got booted off or something. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, we were as confused as you were. For real. We had lost our trusted leader.
Oh please.
For real. No, seriously, like wait a minute.
I don't do titles, but thank you anyway.
No,
You
you know what
titles
I'm saying?
imply, obligations and all that stuff.
Oh, my bad, Gemini.
Yeah,
My
I'm just
bad.
here. Right?
We lost our
I'm a runner, remember?
facilitator. We lost our facilitator. He was like, wait,
There you go.
should we maybe all right.
We can recap. I think we
Okay.
had left off. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where we stopped. The last thing I remember was we were talking about what is that? Changing relationships.
Right.
And how the dynamics will change. Is somebody eating chips or something?
Okay, I'm sorry. Don't worry about nobody, because they can hear it. I'm sorry. I apologize, y'all. My wife and I, we just got our mail from DC, and
okay.
it's colossal. She was ripping through the packages. I'm so sorry. My bad. That was me.
So I'm just making sure it's not feedback or anything.
No, I apologize. All right. Yes, okay, forgive me. It is loud when something's in the background. I forgot. But yeah, we was talking about relationships definitely, and right when you started to fade, Brother Farrar was like, yes, he was like, sister, I would like you to go ahead and take my chart, and he was reading like the coordinates for it and everything, the longitude, latitude of this, and all of that, and that's when you was like, wait a minute, you could see like your face or whatever was fading, but it didn't. You didn't really know why anything. So
it was fading.
Yeah, like it looked faint.
It kept saying connecting, and I was sitting there for like 5 minutes, like this thing ain't connecting. And then at the same time, somebody was trying to call me, and it was like I could hear them. And it was like some messed up delay. So I'm guessing it's my quality internet out here in corn country, Because it's like everything just stopped working. I don't know what happened. So yeah, but if he can like send me his info, I'd be glad to do it.
Yeah,
I'll pull up the site right now.
He still pastors in DC, and so he's probably somewhere around service now or getting out, or so I didn't know if he would make it, but I told him if he couldn't, I told him that I would tell y'all that, you know what I'm saying, why he couldn't be there and whatnot. So he made your thing.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. He's a pastor into astrology.
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
Absolutely, and he has
which
his
he should be.
He has his appellation out front and everything.
That's what's up.
Yep. Yeah, right there in the middle of DC. Absolutely. Yeah.
Some of the best Moors still in church.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm a strong proponent of that one because church folks know how to get business handled. They really do. And it's like, man, if we could get some of those, get them operating like that in the temple.
Absolutely.
Have schools.
Absolutely.
Vans. Like what else the church had? Dinners every Sunday. All that stuff. For real. I saw what they were doing. I was impressed. And it's like, well, it's too bad it's, under you doing it under the wrong umbrella, but y'all don't know no better. So I ain't gonna hold that against you. So I hope y'all don't know no better.
But yeah, they're pretty progressive. But they if you'll be amazed with people, they don't know, so they don't know they're not aware of what you're doing, or what you're not doing, So you start teaching them something that's real, they don't know. Like, wait a minute, I'm actually waking up,
right
here. So yeah.
It's time. It's the quickening.
Yes, absolutely, it is. I was amazed. I was telling Sarush said last night when y'all pinpointed the alphabet crew down to the planet Pluto and it being the planet of transformation, and you were, I think that was the last thing you made. You were grouping it into like our parents got married, we didn't get married. Now the group behind us wants to
Right.
transform the thing all together.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
dang, right down to how it functions on the physical level.
Right.
Not even a social thing. That's what it is with us. It's a social thing, because Libra's a social sign. So yeah, and they adamant about it because it's transforming. It's connected to genitals and emotions, deep, unyielding, uncompromising emotions, and they insisting that everybody go along with it. It's like that ain't dragging us down into your dark well. Nope. I'm not falling for it.
Yeah.
Nah, the safety.
Yeah.
My bad. Go ahead, bro.
No, please.
No, go ahead, Suresh.
Now, I was just gonna say the safety net for a lot of us though that have Pluto there is that our North Node is in Taurus, and for me, that being in the community house, it does, if we get hit to the South Node, I don't know how many people South Node is in the same sign as Pluto, but if we get hip to that and see, what Taurus is about, and then start, North Node astrology says move that direction and be that.
Right.
It says be that. So that's really, when I got into astrology, I really did like I skipped kind of straight to the North Node. I don't know. It was just common sense. It was like, oh, this is just what's
That's
perfect.
what's
So I
up.
was like, oh, wow, okay.
That's what's up.
Taurus North Node. And then, I started to implement all of the Taurus North Node qualities and things almost immediately. And then I pretty much went back and then got detailed with myself, and that's pretty much what I've been doing. So, I mean, finding the Taurus North Node aspect in it with the same generation with some of us, I think is a little bit of a safety net that the universe gave,
Yeah. And then there's my generation. Like, okay, Abir, his North Node is in yours is in Aquarius, right?
Right.
Right. Mine is in Libra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's as bad as it sounds. And it's in my ascendant. Yeah, it's as bad as it sounds. So I guess all I get to do is look at it. I get to watch the show, right?
I mean, Libra North
Pluto
what is your Libra?
denies. It transforms, but it also like denies you stuff. Right? It's like a graveyard. So if you got your North Node, like me, I got my North Node in Libra. So yeah, it's like that's why I do charts, because I'm still trying to figure that out, right? Because the whole North Node in your first house thing, it's like you can't see yourself, right? And it's the same thing if you have your South Node in the first house. It's like the first seventh axis. It's self and other, and you're trying to figure out your karma from your last life and your dharma for your present life, using two things that you really kind of will never know, which is self and other, right? And if you put this in the realm of relationship, and it's in, okay, so Libra is saying I learn about myself through other, right? And so if you have your North Node there, okay, I'm destined to learn about, or about destined to do whatever Libran thing, whatever house it falls in, right? So they say that your North Node is what you obsess over, right? So if you have your North Node in Libra, you're obsessing over relationships, and your Pluto is in Libra too. So it's one of those things. Yeah, I'll admit it. I'm obsessed because it modernly rules Scorpio, which is an obsessive sign, right? So I think we do want it. Like the people with Pluto in Libra, we do want it. We obsess over it, but like, okay, yours is in Taurus. Lucky. So it's a little more removed, even though you still got to deal with that Pluto part. You're not dealing with the extra obsession of the North Node being there. And I don't know, it's like, you know how to think, who said that? Alan Watts. I know he didn't come up with it, but he like popularized it. The backwards law. That what you want most and that what you effort towards the most is that what you gonna be guaranteed to be denied. All right. He says, do the backwards law. You know how that is? How when you ain't thinking about a certain person, they just chase you. But that person you're thinking about is avoiding you like the plague.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
And they say just relax and become a cork, right? Just float on it. And if it's supposed to be for you, it'll come to you, right? And it works. It's like with butterflies, but you don't chase butterflies. You just sit still and it'll come to you, right? Which I think Pluto actually rules butterflies because of the transformation thing. Yep.
Wow.
So
the North Node
so it's
is
a little
thing
more horrible if you got
over.
Libra going on. Yeah.
I was gonna say it that puts like the Vedic spin on it too, like with the Rahu Ketu thing, with like Rahu being only the head of the dragon that can never be fulfilled, you know?
Right. Right. Exactly. Yup. Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's always hungry.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. Never satisfied. And then you got it's in Libra, at least in my case, you know. But I guess Allah gave me a little bit of a saving grace by putting Venus with my South Node. So I know how to have a good time, right? I do know how to have a good time. Thank goodness that's there. So,
Bar Humbug says the Virgo ascendant. Bar Humbug.
Don't have a good time? Is that what you're saying?
Here's the funny thing. I love to watch others have a good time. It gives me pleasure, like seeing the excitement in other people. I see it in them, but for me, it's almost like I can't really get there because I need to be thinking about this. I need to be doing that.
Right. That sounds like Virgo. Analyze, always calculating, which is not a bad word, you know.
You know what I'm saying? So it's, you know,
plotting, not calculating, not plotting, you know.
Right. Well, you know, but and I never have been big on the vices, never. So it was just like, nah, I don't really, you know. I used to say when I was in college, like, okay, well, what is the rule that says that everybody has to, you know, get drunk for their birthday? And everybody was like,
right.
Oh, here you go. Here you go.
It's just
Why you always
done.
asking questions?
That's
the Virgo in me. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, why is that the rule? Like, I can't have a good time unless I'm sloppy out my mind and can't remember what. And plus, the other side of me, I was always like, the Leo in me always felt like, nah, I need to be 10 toes down. I don't want to be outside of my mind because you may try to trick me. See,
right. Yeah, the control. The king got to maintain control. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it if you built for that, if that's what you were made for.
Thank you, Zara.
But if you're an Aquarius and you're a control freak, that's gonna be a problem. You know.
The Aquarius in my Mars is funny because, you know, it's backwards and forwards. You know, same thing about the Gemini in my 10th house. The Gemini's kind of like, well, today I'm this and the next day I'm that. And don't ask me about the other person. Don't, like, I've had it, you know, please don't take it personal at all. You know what I'm saying? It's not a shot. But I tell my wife and I tell my mother, you don't know the other Gemini. You think you do, but you don't know the other head. Dr. Jekyll don't know Mr. Hyde. And Hyde don't know Jekyll. You don't know. Yes, I do, because I don't. Nah, you know the people in your head that you normally talk to, but those of us who live with you can say, like, yeah, here we go. Like, you know.
Yeah.
It becomes a transformation, you know. But
they know they had those moments when they black out and be like, where was I? They know they have them. I have them all the time.
Hey, like, once again, though. Once again, Sarush, I'm ever for the theater. So the Leo likes it. It's a story. It's theater. So y'all black out and you start doing what you're doing. It's like, wow, this is what you do this time.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. You just don't want to be in the center of it. You want to be at the show, just not on stage. But then the Leo in me says, we need to be on stage. Nah, let them do it. You just
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. Yeah.
come on, talk to me. You know, you
Yeah.
control what they're gonna do on stage. No, you write it out for them. Let them say it. Nah, but sometimes you just gotta be honest with yourself and just come out and say it. Like that's the artist in me struggles with that all the time. So I learned like, no, let the character say it. Let the character say it. You know, whatever you want, whatever you're trying to say, put it in the character's mouth. And in that way,
Right.
people don't really know where it came from.
Yeah,
Unless they can see it.
hey, nothing wrong with multiple
Okay.
identities. If you
Let me
made
be let me be quiet. Let me be quiet. Okay, I'm done.
No, I mean that's your 10th house. Because I'm looking at this site and the first things they point now are your first house and your 10th house, right? And then they go into the rest of your chart. And I'm guessing it's like, well, of course your first house, because it's telling you, you know, it's setting the stage, the clock, right?
Right.
And then the 10th house is your reputation, right?
Amen.
How you gonna present into the world, how you actively are going to be working to show people who you are, so to speak, right? And yours is in Gemini, right? So but I'm looking at this sun, it's like your Leo, or not Leo, your sun in Leo is, thank goodness, is not opposing your Mars in Aquarius. Okay. But I do see where, just because of the sign placement, I see where you're talking about the whole back and forth, right?
Yes.
And then the whole, I'm gonna make some characters and put it in their mouth and then let them say it to the world. That's your 10th house in Gemini. Get it? Yeah. So it's like, yeah, that's what's up. Go you. All of you. Yeah, Gemini is kind of cool if you think about it. We get away with being crazy, a little bit crazy, you know. Somebody. Because I know, you got your moon in Gemini. That's whoa. Sun is one thing, but you know how you get sun is one thing, moon is more extreme, ascendant is the most extreme expression of it, you know. So yeah.
I had to learn that, you know, being ruled by the moon just means I gotta play by the moon rules, and you know,
play by the rules.
Yeah, like you know, basically like when the moon is getting full, you know, I usually, you know, I start getting amped up, but like because I know that, I do the opposite, and I meditate and I relax. You know what I'm saying? True. And then like when the new moon comes, you know, that's when I get on like energetic work. You know what I'm saying? Manifesting positive affirmations, and let the light of the moon, the reflection of the moon, you know, illuminate those thoughts and those energies. You know.
Teach, man. Y'all, come on, man. Thank y'all, man. Salute to both of y'all. For real. Thank you. That's wisdom right there.
Thank y'all.
Oh, and to add to Camelback onto that, you can kind of specify and like you can pick your wave as far as like, okay, I know this one gonna carry me where I really want to go by looking at the position of the moon for that day, right? And then okay, so if the moon is in, where is it today? We'll say the moon is in Gemini. That's where it is today.
It is Gemini. Yeah, it is in Gemini. Yeah.
So this is a good day to talk, or is it? Because where is the dispositor of that moon? The dispositor meaning the ruler of the sign that planet is in right now. Ruler of the sign that planet is in right now. So the dispositor is still in Libra. So it's a good day to talk because the moon is trining its dispositor, right? Wow. Now, how does that affect your moon specifically? This is how they do horoscopes, and this is how you can do your own horoscope.
Okay.
Right? So you look at the planet, like, okay, so how are you going to be feeling today? Look at the moon. How's your energy? Look at the sun and its placements in what I just described. How's your love life? Look at Venus. If you're wondering how they doing all these horoscopes, right? And you did it, Saruj. The first time you were on the show, you did it. You did a horoscope, and I'm like, I wonder if he did that, you know, because you were talking about relationships and how you were like, you just let it be what it was, and it kind of took care of itself.
Right. Yeah.
And he spun back and was like, it was something how you said it. It's like I'm going to myself. You related the houses to each other. You just read through the houses, right? What was going on in your houses, and that was a horoscope.
Okay.
It was. I don't know how to go back and get the video. I'm gonna post that because it was really cool. How you
I'm
did
going
that.
back. I'm going
That's
back to look
good.
at
Thank
it. I'm
you.
going back to listen to it. Yeah, I'm going back to listen to
Yeah,
it.
I'll find it. I'll post it on my
Okay.
somewhere on Instagram. I'll find it because I know. I think I know exactly.
Yeah, that was cool. So
Thank y'all.
okay.
Oh no, thank you. Shoot.
No, no, absolutely. So the planetary ruler of the moon doesn't have anything to do. Like it doesn't have to do with Cancer at all. Like Cancer doesn't have anything. The sign that rules the moon or the moon rules it. It doesn't have anything to do with Cancer at all.
Not
Correct?
that, no, because the moon is the moon is everybody. Doesn't have any enemies. All right.
Okay.
There are planets that don't like the moon, but the moon does not like anybody else. If that makes any sense. She doesn't have any enemies, but other people might have her as an enemy. Like the Venus doesn't like the moon because it's the whole woman thing, right? And the moon, yes, that's mom. So she can't hold anything against anybody, right? And she's just constantly moving through the zodiac. So she can have places she prefers, but she can't have favorites, right? So
so okay, good, yeah, go, yeah, go.
So yes, it has nothing to do with Cancer, unless you can kind of see. I guess it kind of can. Like, okay, if the moon is in Capricorn, all right, that's going to be an issue because the dispositor of the moon is Saturn in this case. All right. Saturn dries out whatever is contacting or aspecting, right? So if the moon, imagine it's a crab, right? And you just put it on the top of a mountain. That's going to be very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. It might die, right? Or it might harden up and it might dry up. And I don't know. There's such thing as a stone crab, I guess, Yeah. So yeah. And then it's looking at its opposite house, wanting to go home, So yeah. And this is speaking as if the moon is the only thing going on in the sky that day. You got to look at what else is going on. Because what if Saturn is in Cancer, right? So its dispositor is the moon. And so the moon is sitting in Capricorn's house, and Capricorn is sitting in the moon's house. So they're mutually receiving each other. So even though I don't want to be in your house, I'm feeling a little bit better just because I know I got you in check because you in my house. So yeah, when I say the moon in Capricorn and how that was working, that was like you not looking at anything else going on that day. Yeah, stuff gets kind of fun. It's really simple. It's like the Go, that game, Chinese chess. And it's really simple. You never played that one? Oh, look it up. It's Ego, like I-Go, or just Go. It's Chinese chess. When I was in college, I found out about it and told my math teacher and asked if they had a club or anything. He's like, "Nah, you got to go talk to the physicists." Math teachers, the math department, we play chess. The physicists play Go. All right. So, and it's really simple, but it can get complex. That's why I was just making that analogy to astrology. It gets really, really simple. It's really simple, but you can get really deep with this stuff, And okay, the moon is in Capricorn. What degree is it at? Okay. Is it at what 4th degree? Oh, that's the degree of Cancer. So it's not as bad as it could be.
This is how I tried to do it at first.
Yeah.
I tried to go ahead, Cerise. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, I was agreeing. I was just like registering my mind.
As the sun moves into the next sign, I still feel like I can feel the energy of that sign around me everywhere. And that's when I told Brother Farad that, he was like, yeah, but that's not how you look at it. You got to start looking at the transits. And then that's when he sent me the time passages, the app, and try to like move through it the way you all are saying it now. So, but I still feel like I can feel the energy of like when we're in Cancer or we go into a water sign, I can feel it. I can feel Taurus energy like crawl like I don't know, but I just feel like I can feel it. Is that just in the delusion? Because I know
Well, it might be two things going on.
All right, teach me.
One is that the signs are gradients, right? Think of it like a ripple. And yes, the sun entered, we'll say Taurus 3 days ago, but you still feel like you're in Aries, right?
Right.
Because it's only been 3 days. That ripple's going to take a minute to get to you, right?
I got you.
That's one theory. The second is, has it been a new moon yet? Are you going by the calendar or the sky?
Right. Okay.
So if you still feel like, dang, they saying it's, we'll say, they saying it. Oh, we'll stick with the Taurus. They saying it's Taurus, but it still feels like Aries. Has the new moon happened yet? All right, because that's how Vedic astrology. They like, no, we look up, because what if you don't have a book available or you don't have internet?
Right.
You're gonna have to look up. Right.
Okay, so what y'all beat me over the head with right now is follow the moon. Abir,
right. Yes.
Follow the moon.
Yes. Because how do we even know what day it is? Everybody's focused on the sun. Imagine the moon wasn't there. How would you know what day? The sun is the same every single day.
Okay.
You know where you are and what time of the month you're in by the phases of the moon, because it's different every single night. Yeah. I mean, that's even in the Bible. The time, the hour and the time, what is it? The time and hour man knows not. That was referring to that those days in between when the astrologers, the Israelite astrologers, they were waiting to see the new moon, right? So it was dark for a couple of days. They were waiting for that sliver. And until then, they didn't know what day it was. They didn't know what time it was until that moon showed up. Yeah.
I got you. Oh, yeah. Islam, brother Farah.
Islam, welcome.
Islam. Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yes, sir. Good to hear you.
Yeah, I got kicked off and couldn't get back in last night. I guess the
energy
was just too profound for this app.
Yeah, the gangs are here now.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah. Brother Farah, did you want to go with your
yeah. Do you have my chart, Sister Zara?
Do I have it?
Yeah.
No, I don't have it. I can pull it up though. I actually have my the program I use. I have it pulled up right now. Okay. Let me click on free chart, and this is horoscopes.astro-seek.com.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a free site, and they just expanded it. It goes in. It's kind of like Astro Dance. I don't know if y'all know about that one.
Yeah,
stay away from that one for a minute. Astro Dance. That's like if you've been like, you went through some college or something, because there's actually programs. You can get a master's in astrology now, right?
Oh wow!
Yeah, Nadia Shah. I found out about it through her. She got a master's. So yeah, it's not here. She had to go to England or somewhere to get it. But yeah, they got it. Okay,
that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, but this is kind of like Astro Dance, but it's like way more abridged, right? Because Astro Dance, they got have you ever heard of astrocartography?
Yeah.
No.
I'm using that.
Yeah, I'm about to move. Because I got Pluto on the ascendant, right? So it's like wherever the Midwest is just like dead. Whenever I leave the Midwest, my life just flourishes. But when I'm in the Midwest, I'm just stuck in that. I feel like I'm in exile. It really does.
Wow.
And I was just wondering, why is it every time I come home, nothing gets done? And the people I know, I don't know, have any friends from Chicago really, and they all say you like an anti-ambassador of the Midwest, like. And now I know why, because I looked up the astrocartography, because it overlays your birth chart on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And then it like even it does it longitudinally and latitudinally. So depending, like, okay, this is where your Mars and your Jupiter cross. So you're gonna have like expansion in, well, if you're a guy or a woman, you're gonna have expansion in like romantic, whatever, blah 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 blah. You know, yeah, it gets deep. But okay, brother Farad. All right, I'm ready to put in your date and time.
Okay. All right.
So what day?
June 18th.
Okay, hold on. June 18th. Okay.
1954.
1954. Oh, so y'all those what is that? Pluto and Leo people.
Ancient.
That ain't that old, please. If you consider we were living to 120 when they got over here.
You're right.
Please.
You're absolutely right. 11:58 p.m.
11. Where's the p.m.? 58 p.m. Okay.
Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo. All right. Let's pull this up. All right. Here we go. Oh, you got an interesting looking chart. It's a whole bunch of triangles in it. That's what's up.
It is. It is.
That's what's up.
It is. It is.
All right. Yeah, I see this. Okay. So you are in degree Gemini. Moon in Capricorn at the end degree.
Capricorn moon.
In the 12th house. Whoa. Wow. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's deep. Mercury and Cancer in the 5th house at 18 degrees. Okay. The first thing I'm seeing is that Mercury and Cancer in the 5th house. And you don't take offense to this. The reason that's sticking out to me is because Trump got the same thing.
That ain't offensive.
I mean, because Mercury and Cancer, they just got this way of speaking where even if people don't agree with them, they identify, I guess I can see where you coming from. Even though a lot of people didn't like Trump, he is like, well, I don't like you, but you got a point, that kind of thing. And yours is in the 5th house. So with creative, so Mercury, Cancer, 5th house. So able to speak to people, like to the heart of people, not even to their heart, because Leo is more like the heart, like the heart that you see. But I guess this is like the heart, like the hearth of the home, right? So yeah, wow, that's funny. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, that's what I'm saying. It's Mercury, 3rd house, Cancer, 4th house, and then it's all in the 5th house. That's interesting. All right, let me just look at the chart. Stop looking at the placements. All right, you got a seesaw, where it's got a bunch of them on one side and then a bunch of them on the other side with just a couple of them in the middle or in any other houses. Yeah, I'm just looking at it. See, Mercury retrograde conjunct Lilith. Is that a conjunction? So your Lilith is in Scorpio, almost in Sagittarius. No, it had just gone into Scorpio. So are you good with your words, like biting words, like to get your point across?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Like stinging. Oh, okay.
I try now, after I've gotten a little older, to be diplomatic and kind, but
Yeah, stop doing that. I mean, you can keep doing that if you want to, but your chart says you ain't gotta do that.
Not at all.
My Lilith is like that. It's in yours is in Scorpio. Mine is in the 8th house, so it's Scorpionic. I say what I feel like. I had to learn to be like, no, I'm gonna say what I feel like.
That's right.
And I'm not trying to be offensive, but if you take offense, hey.
Is that how
I will allow others to say as they feel.
Exactly. Yeah, be magnanimous. That's what's up.
Okay.
That's probably the Mercury in Cancer. Get it? That's,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mercury, mom lets you speak, right?
I
Mom want
can
to hear what
see
you
it.
got to say. And then it's in the
I can
fifth
see it.
house, right? So do you like counsel young people?
I
Yes.
counsel everybody.
Oh,
Yes. Absolutely.
well,
Yes.
I mean, shoot, there you go. You said
but
he's a
but
pastor,
the
right?
answer to your question is, I have a whole group of young people. Well, they're young to me. They're in their early 20s and some
They're
late teens.
young to you because it's fifth house.
Calling.
Would you call them the quote unquote kids? That's
No,
fifth
that's
house.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Even though
Absolutely.
they grown, they kids to you.
That's right. Well, it seems to be yes. Mm-hmm.
Yup, that's that Mercury in
You right
Cancer,
on
the
point.
fifth
You are
house.
right
He
on
speaks
point.
lovingly to the children because that rules the fifth house, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let's see. Your 10th house is in Sagittarius. Well, that explains how you a pastor and you into astrology. Oh, there it
Yeah,
is right there.
that's it. That's
You know,
absolutely
because
right.
10th house is your, what you putting out, and you let folks know this. That's a trip. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was raised Muslim, but around a whole bunch of Christians, and it was like, no, astrology, that's voodoo. You don't, that's taboo. You don't touch that. And if they were doing it, they definitely were not talking about it.
Yes.
And you like you doing it, and you on a very public platform talking about it. That's what's up. So yeah, because Sagittarius is that you've gone through the struggles, the darkness of Scorpio, and you've been transformed. You should be a little more enlightened after those, because difficulty is character building. You start philosophizing about your experiences. That's Sagittarius. And then when you actually do something with them, that's Capricorn. And then when you look back and be like, where can I make some improvements on this? That's Aquarius. And when you're done, you ready to go to sleep, that's Pisces.
I see it. You right on point with me.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Okay. So, am I still looking at? Okay, so you have your North Node in the 11th house with Mars retrograde. Let me see what by sign. I'm just looking at the chart. Let me look at the signs. So Mars is in Capricorn. Another Mars in Capricorn. That's what's up. That's like a leader. That's the soldier putting on the armor of the general. But he's not the general, right? Because generals just sit around usually, right? No, this is a soldier. He put on the armor of the general. He's going out to fight.
Yeah.
And yours is at the degree of Cancer. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So do you work with a lot of young men?
Yes. I do.
And they always feel better when they leave you?
Yes.
That's my prayer.
Do they seek you out?
Yes. Yes.
Because your Mars is retrograde. So no, it's coming to you. You're not no missionary. It's coming to you. All right.
I can bear witness the last 30 years myself. So yes.
That's what's up. What I just say, he's the soldier dressed up as the general, because the soldiers, they kind of act different around the authority figures, right? But they're gonna open up. So yeah, he's the general, but he's still one of us. That kind of thing. All right. That's what's up. Let's see what else I see up in here. Moon in the 12th in Capricorn. At the end degrees of Capricorn, 28th degree. Going into Aquarius. And you have an Aquarius ascendant. Ooh.
Yes.
Aquarius ascendants and Scorpio ascendants, and you don't have to input if you don't want to. They are notorious for having problems with their mothers. All right. Because of the at least with the Aquarius, the 4th house falls into Taurus, right? So but I don't see that's your case. Nope, your 4th house, you have intersected houses, and I'll get into that in a minute. So your 4th house is actually in Gemini. So hopefully you were okay with your mom. And
good friend, she is an Aquarian.
Oh, see, there we go. So because it's
We were
intercepted,
friends.
so it didn't happen. Because if your fourth house was in Taurus, Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus does not like the moon, right? So
Exactly.
and the fourth house is ruled by the moon. So you're forced. So this sign is forced to be in the house of someone she does not like, right?
Yes.
And unfortunately, the fourth house is the mother, but yours is falling in Gemini. So yay, that's safe.
Yeah.
Because I've met Aquarius risings, and yeah, you like the first one I've met that didn't have a problem with his mom. Oh yeah. Let me see. And your sun is in your fourth house. Oh yeah. So let me make sure I got this right. Let me see. So your sun is in the fourth house.
Fourth house is ruled by the moon.
The fourth house, that's where I'm going. The fourth house is ruled by the moon, which is in the 12th house. And the 12th house is a karmic house too. Okay.
Yes. I think it organizes my energy.
I'm about to say, I think, because I'm looking at the placement of the sun and the moon, I think you might have been your mom's father in her last life. And maybe that's why y'all got along. Like, did she treat you pretty good?
Yes.
I mean, she's an Aquarius, so I know how Aquarius, they can kind of be icy and cold, but their opposite is Leo. So when they do warm up, let me see what's going on in Leo with your stuff. Oh, you got Pluto in Leo. There's that. I said it. Yep, the Pluto and Leo generation. Yeah. That's an interesting placement. Because, no offense, but the Plutos and Leo are the ones that got the world in the current state that it's in. Because they are like uncompromising when it comes to having their way.
Absolutely.
I mean, that could be a good thing depending on what you're doing. But, if you like, I want your resources and I want your to rule your land. That's the generation that did that. All right. For real.
Can I? I don't know. Can I do this? Can I ask a question about his chart? Can I do that?
Sure.
Hey, if he okay with it.
Sure.
She got excited. Sorry, you got excited. Excuse me for doing that. Sorry, you got excited when you said his Capricorn was in the 12th house, and then you just said something a minute ago about, I guess, what is that? What does Capricorn do? Is it natural in the 12th house, or what kind of energy does it give it? I'm thinking.
Okay, so Capricorn is natural ruler is the 10th house.
Right.
The natural ruler of Pisces, or natural ruler of the 12th house is Pisces.
Right.
So, it's what I'm thinking it's meaning is, okay, Pisces rules like spirituality, stuff you can't like really put your hands on.
Yes.
Right. But you're putting Capricorn there, so you're manifest, and it's a cardinal sign. So you're actually, if I'm understanding this correctly, you're actually able to take the metaphysical and bring it into the physical through your own initiative. Nobody has to inspire you to do this. You're going to do this on your own, and you're going to derive a great deal of emotional satisfaction from it because of the moon being right there.
Okay, now.
But Chiron is right there too.
All right.
Chiron is right there too. So it's like, be careful. Pick your battles. Right? Because what is that? Again, you got what is that? Mars is in Capricorn. Your North Node is in Capricorn. Your moon is in Capricorn. And Chiron is in Capricorn. So you got to be careful. Like, yes, you are able to help people. They will come to you for assistance. And you can do it, but be careful that you don't hurt yourself in the process, right? And then if you do hurt yourself, it's going to hurt a lot more just because of the moon being right there. I mean, they like exactly conjunct. Like, okay, I mean, it could be one of those
1
situations
degree.
like, okay, this brother came to me, he was trying to get out the game, get his life right, right? I gave him all this, I hooked him up with a job, blah, blah, blah. And next thing I do, turn on the TV, found out he robbed the bank.
Oh,
And
wow.
after all that, after all those arrangements I made, you know,
Yeah.
it hurts. Yeah. But you meant to do it because your North Node is right there. You meant to do it,
Yeah.
you know. And your North Node is in the 11th house. So you're here to make a whole bunch of friends. And your ascendant is in Aquarius, which rules the 11th house. So you have support to do this. You know, it's like your whole self, right? Your whole self is destined, is dharma, is purpose in life is to go out and make friends, and is, I guess, with young men, right? Because it's Mars and Mars is retrograde right there with it. So yeah, it's pretty dope. Even though they're both in and then they're both in Capricorn. So they're in the 11th house, which is ruled by Aquarius. Aquarius, ancient ruler is Saturn. All right.
That's correct.
And your 11th house is in Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn, which is also ruled by Saturn. So you have support, right? So it's like a it could be bad. All of this would have been a lot harder if your ascendant wasn't in Aquarius. So it's like you're built for this. You really are built for what you're doing. Sun in Gemini, 27 degrees. So again, the biting words. It's like the Gemini thing, you know, Geminis just kind of say whatever. And then it's almost into Cancer. And Cancers, when they do like snap at you, they take your head off. They really do. You know, those claws, you know. And it's at the 27th degree. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong one.
No, that's it.
Oh, okay, 27. Trying to think. That's oh wow. So your sun is in Gemini at the degree of Gemini in your 4th house. Oh, that sounds like fun. Did you have a lot of talking going on in your house when you were growing up?
It was 9 of us.
Oh wow.
And all of us wanted to be comedians, I guess.
I'm just saying.
But I studied everybody's chart as a teenager.
Oh wow. What's going on in your 8th house? Let me see. That's tripped out. 8th house is in Libra. Astrology, 8th house. Other people, Libra. That's what's up. That's what's up. At 11 degrees, and that's the degree of Aquarius. You everybody's friend. That's the friend. You know, Aquarius, they get a bad rap. That's the sign of friends, you know, the audience. That's dope. All right.
I was asking the question because he has a drive. Brother Farad has a drive that I always wondered, like, where does he find the energy to keep the Energize the Bunny, almost like he keeps going, like he does not. So you keep saying Capricorn, I'm saying that must be the Capricorn.
It's that Mars. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. I should have mentioned that.
Okay.
It's exalted in that Capricorn. Not dignified. It's dignified in Aries. It's exalted in Capricorn.
Okay.
All right. And it's right there with the North Node. So it's empowering his destiny. What he's here to do. And it's retrograde. So it's internal. He's his own battery. How about that?
Yes. And I can bear witness. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've always studied amazement.
And
like,
it's
how
in Capricorn. You know,
Yeah.
that goat is trying to get to the top of the mountain.
To the top. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But be careful, because there's a catch with that climb. All right. Don't go too far. Don't go too fast, because you can fall. You know.
Exactly.
And I bear witness to that. Whatever's going on in your 10th house will indicate, or whatever's going on in your Capricorn placements or your 10th house will indicate your public embarrassment. Or whatever, like, downfall that everybody's going to be able to see. And my moon and Saturn are in the 10th house. I ain't about to go into
So
that. That's a
repeat
story
that
for
again,
another day.
please.
Huh?
Repeat that again, please. Repeat what you just said. What's going to indicate that? Public embarrassment.
10th house. Your 10th house or your wherever Capricorn is, or where I would even say kinda a little bit where Saturn is. Just because Saturn gives you your fruits.
Okay.
Be that for good or for bad. All right.
I think my Saturn is in Gemini too.
Let me see. I'm gonna pull that up.
Because my wife's is in Leo and Brother Ross showed it to me. I didn't know that. I think so. I could be wrong.
Your Saturn is in Gemini, yes.
Yep. That's
for 5 degrees. Oh, that's what's up. So your Saturn is at the degree of Leo. So it's actually
Saturn
kind of
is
helping.
the taskmaster, right? Like that's the
And Saturn also, so Mars rules the south node. Saturn rules the north node. All right. Because Mars is our passions and kind of where we mess ourselves up. Like think of irrational babies. Like they always getting into stuff and throwing fits.
Right.
So the north node is the work you're here to do. It's probably, and you probably extremely unfamiliar with it, right? Because it's the opposite of what you know. And so it's going to be difficult. So Saturn, it's going to be some work, but you will get fruits from it. Saturn.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And you can see when these fruits are coming by following Jupiter. All right. So Jupiter will go through a sign, right? And whatever activities are associated with that sign. Usually when Jupiter leaves that sign, Saturn is coming in right after it. Right?
So
and that's Jupiter? What's bringing in your fruits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So follow Jupiter. Wherever Jupiter is, go with that.
If you're trying to when it transits or when it changes signs, my fault. So just follow Jupiter because it moves every 13 months. So it's gonna be sitting in one sign for a minute.
Gotcha.
And then Saturn, I think, is every every 2 years, something like that. It takes 2 years to leave a sign, 18 months, something like that. No. Jupiter is 13 months, and I think Saturn is 18 months. I have to look it up though. But yeah, Jupiter you go through and you do your thing. You expand in Jupiter, and then you harvest when Saturn comes through that same sign.
Okay.
Like right now, Jupiter is in Aquarius. And Capricorn or Saturn is Jupiter's in Aquarius. It just went direct. It's getting ready to go back into Pisces.
Okay.
And Saturn right now is in Aquarius. So yeah. So pay attention to what you're doing. It's not like you got to do it every day, right? It's like planting a tree. Which tree? Just plan and accordingly. What kind of fruit do you want to harvest?
Right.
And you probably only got to do it once, right? Like when when Jupiter went into Aquarius, I knew Saturn's coming into Aquarius right after it. So I went and invested in all of this technology to get my business really, really going, right?
Okay.
Because my 5th house is in Aquarius, right? So I'm like, yeah, this is dope. So Jupiter is expanding my creativity because it's moved into Aquarius, where my 5th house is in Aquarius. So Jupiter is already expanding that. So I need to go with that, expand my creativity, right? And I expanded that by getting new computer, what is that? External drives, subscribing to the Adobe Cloud, all that, and getting to work, right? Now Saturn has come into this. It has just gone direct. And yesterday I just got somebody asking, can you design some posters for our temple?
Well,
I sure can.
Awesome.
What made you ask? Oh, I saw what you've been doing online with all this creativity stuff. Thank you. Well, so that was a couple of years ago when Jupiter or last year when it went into Aquarius. Actually, I think it was earlier this year when it went into Aquarius. It sure was, because that's when I started spending all this dang money. But and I'm like, let me just do this, and it worked. because I seen it happen before. I done it before, and it happened, and then I learned about it later, and it was like, what? That's what that was. Let me do that. Let me do that on purpose this time, then, and it worked, you know. And I'm having fun with it, so yeah, you need to see where Jupiter is falling in your specific chart, like what house.
Scorpio. Oh no.
No. Jupiter's in Aquarius, so in your specific chart, it's in the 5th house right now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Actually, it might be in the 6th because I don't know what degree it's at today. So it's like 5th, 6th.
You're reading the transit.
Your Aquarius spans your 5th and 6th house, so it's 5th, 6th. So yeah.
Are you reading from? You're reading from the transit and not the natal. Am I right?
No, I'm reading.
The
well,
natal?
That example was transit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can go back to natal. But yep. Anything else you wanted to know about your chart? I'm trying to see what else I see interesting. Let's see. Sun in Gemini, Moon in Capricorn. So you got air, energy, and earth emotions. I had to take a breath because that sounds heavenly. Because I'm a Gemini. And it's like, boy, if I could catch a thought, you know, because it's like as soon as like, oh, it's like all over the place because our minds are constantly going. And mine is in my moon is in Leo, so
Wow.
Yeah, so Gemini sun, Leo moon is like constantly, oh, I could do this, correct. But Capricorn is like you can actually stop and act on some of your stuff. Don't assume all Geminis can do that. It's like that's why I kind of wish, like, if I had to be something ruled by Mercury, I would have rather have been a Virgo, because they can sit down somewhere, you know.
Yes.
A minute, sit down a minute and just think.
Yeah, that would be nice instead of just being like your mind is like fireworks, you know. And each one of those little dots is a separate thought that you want to follow. And here goes another one. Here go another firework. And there go another one. So yeah, lucky. I'm jealous. And your sun is conjunct. Is that Jupiter?
Yes.
Yeah. I had that too. That's cool.
You do too?
Yeah. So your sun is in Gemini and your Jupiter is in Cancer, but they're conjunct by degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So outside of the signs, not including the sign, and actually got to look at the position too, because since the sun is falling into Jupiter, you can think of the sun is sitting in the throne of Jupiter. All right. I think mine is backwards, where I have Jupiter sitting in the throne of the sun.
Oh, that's awesome too.
It can go either way.
Mm-hmm.
So the sun sitting in the throne of Jupiter is like, I'm giving extra energy to my philosophies, my beliefs, my spiritual practices, right?
Yeah.
If you reverse it, it's like I'm burning up my luck, because Jupiter is sitting in the throne of the sun. It's gonna burn up, right? Because you're sitting on the throne meant for a ball of fire that's way bigger than you, right? Yes. And then mine are conjunct in Gemini, which is the detriment of Jupiter.
Wow.
But yeah, it's in the 8th house, so it's kind
of
like
it's in the 8th house. Yeah,
so I love astrology. All right, big time. And I keep falling into holes and finding treasures. So yes, it's detriment, but when the bad luck happens, so quote unquote bad luck happens, there's always some reward afterwards.
Of course.
Because
that's Scorpio.
8th house rules holes. There's treasure in holes, right?
But it also rules in endings, therefore beginnings.
Yep, exactly. And that's the only tattoo I have is a butterfly.
Wow.
Yeah, single tattoo. A one black block butterfly. With the wings getting pulled off. It really is. I guess it's a caterpillar with wings next to it, but if you look at it, it looks like the wings are getting pulled off.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's very symbolic. It's like, I'll be all right. I'm still a caterpillar. I can put these wings back if I really want to. Yeah. So yeah. See, North Node. That's dope. North Node in the 11th house. That is so cool. Here to change something, right? Revolutionary. The what is that? The rebel, right? In the man, and then you're an Aquarius ascendant. That's dope.
So it's usually always for the benefit, for the good of the whole, the good
Of
of
the
the
masses. That's Aquarius. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Leo is the actor, the stage. Aquarius is the audience, right? Everybody else, right? But the individual within that audience. All right. Pisces is no. We're all just. We're not a salad. Pisces is the melting pot. So yeah. Aquarius is more like the salad. Yeah. That's what's up.
I'm learning.
I hope that was fruitful.
Absolutely.
Listen. I think you are hands down the best I've sat with.
Oh,
and I'm saying that to say, and I have master's astrologers in my class. I mean, they've been at it for 30 years, older than I am. But you have made this a part of you, as Geminis can do.
Yes.
You've made this a part of your way to be in this reality. And it has helped me tremendously, brought back so much, and it's fired me up. And I'm not
That's
easily
what's
fired
up. Fired up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, and just if you fired up, it's funny you say that because I have my Mars in Aries. So
What?
our Mars are squaring.
What? Your Mars is in Aries?
Mars squaring Mars. You know, it's like a kung fu fight, right?
Wow. Woo.
Nothing to play with. I keep telling you nothing to play with. She is nothing to play with at all.
Hey, I'm just here. I'm having fun. Shoot. I hope y'all having fun. Thank you. I mean, because it's like I've been studying this stuff so long, and it's like, what? Folks actually want to hear this?
Oh, it's time. It's time now. It's time now. You are absolutely right about the church, but the church is ready to hear it now because it's not the old church. These are new people. They have taken the place of where old people were, and they grew up with this in their games and in their videos and in the movies, and it's very palatable now. So you prepared yourself for a generation that a poll like this movie we used to watch all the time, the group A Beautiful Mind.
Yes. Right.
How at the very end of the movie, you know, which nobody understood the brother all this time, but at the end of the movie, these children, young people coming in from India and everywhere, oh yeah, we understand this, and this is what you showed us, and this is he sat down like, well, my goodness. So I see that about you.
Oh, thank you,
Zara. You just give it another minute or two. They'll be knocking at your door, and you don't have to start from square one with them either. They're going to be ready.
Thank you. Coming from an elder, thank you so much. For real.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You prepared yourself well.
Younger than my mother, so it's just like that. And then you're around this. You've been able to see the generations come and go. You know? And for you, the experience behind what you just said, it's like, oh my goodness, what can I do but believe what he's saying? But that you said that the young people are in it, it's like, if this was going to keep them in the church, maybe, which is great, because this is what the church should have been in the first place.
It's what the church is. Listen, Jesus is the Son.
Right.
He had 12 disciples. Those are the houses. He had 7 loaves of bread. Those are the planets. Right. I mean, it's all there. The Roman church hid it, but the Moorish signs bring it out.
Right.
So that's why the Roman church wanted to destroy the Moorish signs, but it's there.
Yep. And it's so natural to us, right?
It's very natural.
Yeah. That's what's up. Well, shoot, I'm encouraged. Let me keep going in. Thank you.
I'm just humble. I'm just humble. I'm humble right now. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be here.
And you bringing people, that's what's up.
What Zara, from the beginning, you wouldn't let me say no. I kept trying to wait. I think we need to do now, brother. We just gonna get on there and listen. No, it's informal. No, brother. You pulled me and listen. The Virgo in me needed that.
That's what's
and
up.
You saw that. You recognized that. And it was
because you told me you were a Virgo moon. It's like, oh yeah, I know how to deal with you.
See what I'm saying? So yeah. So, and you said, well, listen, I know how to deal with Leos. My parents are Leos, so you dropped my armor. You disarmed me, so I couldn't really. Okay, she give me a little love, so I don't have to.
No, I showed you some dang respect. That's what it is. A little bit of fear.
Most people, Leos, we used to roaring, and people kind of leave us alone. Gemini,
exactly.
No, really, I don't care about no roaring. Who are you?
You're like, how many times I've been bit? Come on now.
Right.
I don't know if he told you, my mother and father are Leos.
What?
Yep, you told me that. Yes. That is amazing.
I'm surprised I made it out alive. Shoot. Because it's Gemini and Leo. Because I'm like, I'm gonna try, but it's just like, what? Forget it. At least I can get over on other people. Not that I like get over.
Right.
But after dealing with you, it's a lot easier to convince other people.
Right.
Yes.
And then it's like I found out it's not even worth it because that's they instilled in me a unbelievable work ethic. So it's like, nope, you better figure it out first, because I'm gonna ask you if you figured it out. Did you even try to figure it out before you came to ask me? So like, yep. What did you try to do about it? Oh my goodness, how many times did I hear that? Why don't you ever ask for help? That's probably why. But hey, it worked. I don't wait on nobody for nothing. So,
well, I will say this: I thank you for always for this, and the work on the books, and I didn't, more people have been on Amazon already. Keep telling me I already bought.
That's what's up. Okay,
so
cool.
The book was written as a manual. I don't know if I told you. That's it. It was written. It started as a manual.
Nah.
And the manual is like it's called Love is a Privilege, Not a Guarantee. And it's written like this is the last book you need before you say, forget relationships. I hate all of it. I'm done with it. This is like this is the book you need before you jump off the mountain. And I let somebody read it, and they was like, well, I don't really like books that's instructional. Can you do it with characters?
Right.
Well, random highs is the character part of it.
Gotcha. I got you.
So the other half needs to be done so we can sell it as it's a group thing. This the manual. This the workbook. This the actual novel or whatnot. But anyway, we'll talk about that. Yeah,
that's what I was about to say.
That's
you need to
awesome.
send me that book.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. I mean, if you knew the stack of books, I need to hire some folks. But again, I follow
whatever way I can help you. Whatever way I can help, please.
Man, I mean, I need some folks. Do you know how to use InDesign? That kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I can try to learn. Anyway, let me know if I can. Like, I'm saying.
Dude, just send me. You already did the hardest part. You wrote it. That's the hardest part, right? Yeah. I ain't writing no book. Actually, I wrote in like some instruction manuals. That's about it. What on homeschooling and how to avoid child support. That's about it.
You would have about 4 or 5 books easy. I can see that. I can see. Yes. I can see that.
Yeah, if I could find the time, that's probably why I help other people do it. Because it's that, again, I wish I was a Virgo. If I could just sit down somewhere. Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts in my head, but I don't have the quote unquote discipline to just sit still. I'm just like all over the place. So,
my mother said,
I mean, come on, Gemini Sun, Libra rising, Mars in Aries. Yeah.
But you're doing a great work. You're doing a great work, and I like I said, this is great right here. This is awesome.
And thank y'all for being involved. Because I can't do this by myself.
Yeah, it's inspiring. I want to go back and you know, I got to learn. I got to get up with the rest of the class. I got to figure out, you know, how these things work. But just little things, little here and there. I'm going back and look at those, and you know, and jump back into the class Wednesday if I can, and you know, keep moving from there and bring them notes. But we just keep, you know, every round goes higher and higher. It seems like
That's awesome.
Ties in step by step. Just one small gesture every day. Next thing you know, right? Put one brick down. Eventually, you're gonna have a house. You know.
This was a nice Sunday afternoon. Unexpected.
It was. It sure was.
Man, nice and relaxing. And
thank y'all for coming back. For real, that was
great. Yeah. Well, thank you for inviting us in and letting me be a part. I teach a whole lot of classes in the evening, but I'm gonna catch you every chance I get.
That's what's up. And you can come back and listen. They have recordings here, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. All right. This feels like a good place to wrap up. If anybody has any last comments, questions, suggestions.
I think we're good.
That's what's up.
No, just thank y'all for
absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
This platform, you know, Astro Seekers. It's definitely wow. That's what I've been sitting here doing the whole time, just going through Astro Seekers.
That's what's up. And how is it? You like it?
Yeah, it's wild.
And it's very easy to navigate. So yeah,
okay, hold
there's
on
a ton of them you can
move.
go to, but it's just like you will just get lost because there's so many options. This one is like you can go deep, but not too deep.
Okay. Give me the websites again. What's the one you just said, Sarush?
Horoscopes. Oh, go ahead.
No, you got it.
Okay. Horoscopes.astro-seek.com.
.astro.seek.
No, -seek.
-seek. Okay.
Yeah.
-seek.
Yeah. So horoscopes.astro-seek.com.
Okay. And what's the other one? What's the one he just said? What's another one?
It was Astro Seek.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Same one.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yep. So yeah, I suggest you set up an account because you will be going if like that's how I started getting hooked on this site. I kept going back to look at other stuff as I was like looking at my chart and I was like, wait a minute, what is that? And I kept having to re-enter it. So just set up an account.
Okay.
And then you can save other people's data up in there. You can save events up in there, all kinds of stuff.
Zara, are you familiar with Astro Gold?
Yeah, but I'm not paying for nothing like that. It's some stuff I just won't pay for.
I understand.
Like, my first child was born at home. My third child was born at home by myself because I refused to pay the midwife.
Whoa, that's
what?
awesome.
I ain't doing. I wish I would. He coming either. No matter what I do, what am I pay you $250 for? I'm so glad I didn't because I was like, oh, okay, there he is. I'm gonna make dinner.
Oh.
It was just another part of the day, right?
Oh my God!
I mean, his father was there. He helped me too, but he was more.
Wow.
You know.
Sorry. Once again, you are nobody to play with. You hear me?
You are no one to play
with.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was the first one.
I look forward to really spending time with you and you two brothers.
But this was fun.
Specifically the sister.
Stop! No, don't
stop. Love to everybody. I hope y'all have a blessed week. You know what I'm saying?
Let me do
peace and blessings.
All right. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Talk to me more.
Thank you.
This has been Sister Zara Bay, Brother Abir Chanan L, Brother Sarush L, and Brother Farad Masa. Am I saying that right?
Farad Masa L.
Farad Masa L. Yeah. You can contact us by going to califamedia.com, 43rdbooks.com. That's 43rdbooks.com. And have a safe and prosperous, and we'll see you on the next chat. Peace.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Peace.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.